a massive toxic hacker player ban wave has smashed into Overwatch, only it's just in Overwatch Korea. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into that, though, look at this. This is the timers on the queue for quick play. This is quick play for DPS. It's over 10 minutes. What is going on here? Why is this over 10 minutes? This is very weird to me because quick play, you'd think that it's got a larger or a broader matchmaking range. So just throw people together so they can play a game. This is super weird. I mean, this forced me to go and play Quick Play Classic, which arguably is probably just the better Quick Play. But this is very weird. I mean, does this always happen, guys? What the hell? Anyway, go and follow Overwatch Neri on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with things going on in the Overwatch Korean community. She is amazing, has loads of updates. I think she's a forum MVP as well, with like one of the special forum, not a moderator, but like a special person on the forum, most valuable person, I guess, or player on the forums. You get them for European forums, NA forums, and also for the Korean forums. Now, this big post on the screen, you guys are like, what the hell? It doesn't even make sense. No, because this has been translated from Korean using Google Translate. It's a notice of sanction. So basically, this is the notice saying these players, and yes, they do list the accounts because that is what this is on the screen here. Again, this is using the translate function, so it's completely destroyed all of this. But these are names of accounts. People who have literally been banned. Because, guys, it is the law. That is right. It's like Judge Dredd. I am the law. That's what it is in Korea. You actually have to state who you're taking action against, right? It is, I think, the only country in the world where you have got a law against hacking and cheating and being toxic and all of that in online games. It's incredible. Now, Blizzard Korea is a very special thing because to operate a business in Korea, you need to have a business registered in Korea. So what Blizzard can't do is go ahead and say, oh yeah, it's just an office in Korea we've got, like they would do for London, for example. Like there's like an Activision Blizzard London thing. It's just an office. It's not a business. But in Korea, you have to have a company set up, which is its own company, which adheres to all of these special laws in Korea. And that's exactly what this is. Now, what this means for us is we get to see stuff like this when players get banned. Now, it would be super cool if this applied to Europe and to North American or just every other server in the world so we could see it. I think it would make me feel better as an Overwatch player if I could see people were actually being banned off the game for being super toxic or being massive cheaters and hackers. And if you gave us the names of their accounts, that would be the icing on the top. Or maybe that's going a little bit too far, but still, it would be nice if we actually got that information. I think it'd be good for the player base. It'd like be a feel-good moment, right? So let's move on to Overwatch League. Another high-profile name has left. This is Semmler. He says he will not be returning to cast full-time Overwatch League, and that the hard part is putting a 2-year partnership on hold. And he says thanks to Hex for helping him out and all of that good stuff, because you know they were a pretty fun partnership when it came to Overwatch League. A lot of people kind of had these guys rated as maybe not the best casting pair. They were okay. And what's this Widow doing? They were okay and it's fine and great, but they were never like going to set the world on fire. But the interesting thing here is Semmler has made a comment on the loadout, and this is what he says. I was always treated well there at Blizzard. It's not a management thing, he tells the loadout. Unlike Monte, who went out all guns blazing, there's no bad blood between me and the Overwatch League. And if I were to pop in and do a weekend here or there, I've not closed any doors. The game just changed. If you've watched me cast Counter-Strike, you'll know I like to get excited and hyped, but also that I don't fake it. But that was getting more and more difficult in Overwatch. The game has changed so radically since the first season. And when we first started out, there were more options for mechanical skills and big plays. I felt it was still possible to carry a team pretty hard individually, but that's harder now after the last 2 years. The new meta slowed the game down so much that it became difficult for me to cast. The game has to speak to you if you're a caster. That's where we are at. Beautiful. Like, that is beautiful. That is such a great statement for a caster to make, because if they can't cast the game because they've got good reasons and they put them forward, then it makes sense that they shouldn't really be casting that game. Now, the big issue here is Overwatch League going into Season 3. It is a bit of a wow. This is geolocation. This is all the homestand events. This is hundreds of players traveling all over the world all of the time, like massive flights. It's going to be loads of jet lag. Are these players going to get ill? What's going to happen when these players get to different countries? How will their training setups be? What will their accommodation be? Will they be traveling first class on planes? I can tell you for free, no, they won't. They'll be traveling in economy, most likely, because the costs would be incredible. Now, a lot of people have compared this to NFL players or basketball players or any kind of major sport player and say, well, the thing is, these players, they get onto like a private chartered jet. It's all first class. They're flying at great times. They're going to awesome hotels. That's not going to happen for Overwatch League players. The question is it going to affect them? Because even travel of that magnitude is going to affect those professional sports athletes, right? So it's going to affect the pro gamers if they're in just economy flights and everything's not great and maybe there's delays and all of that. So we're waiting to see what happens here. But Overwatch League, it is a bit rocky right now going into Season 3. Is it going to fall flat on its face? I hope it doesn't. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see what actually happens with all of that stuff. So for the remainder of this video, I'm going to do a discussion, guys. And this is the idea that Blizz want dive back. Because we know the state of the PTR right now. We covered this in a video which went onto the channel yesterday, which went into massive detail on all of the changes that are coming out for the various heroes. But one kind of very prominent theme among all of this stuff is Blizzard trying to bring dive back. Are they trying to buff dive tanks to make them more viable? Have they been buffing dive tanks for a while now and we kind of really haven't been paying attention? Or is it just a case of, well, Sigma and Orisa are just great, so why would we play anything else? Now, I'm going to paint a picture for you guys, right? Sigma, Orisa, Baptiste. Very good. That is the core of every team right now in Overwatch. The PTR might change this, and this is why we're going to discuss this now. But those three heroes are the core of every high-level team, every super meta team, anything like that. They are the best heroes that you can pick in those slots. Now, the last 3 patches for Overwatch have seen a bunch of changes. So we've seen things like armor's power increase, so it now reduces more damage coming in. This means if you're a tank with armor, you are more durable. Who is a tank with armor? Well, it's Hammond. Hammond has a lot of armor. Hammond is actually a bit of a sleeper when it comes to the recent patches because he's really strong. It's very hard to kill him. The only way to kill Hammond is to freeze him up with Mei and chuck a wall into his face and then flashbang him after that fails and then he dies. If you don't do that, he's going to get out of the fight and then he's going to come back in again and again and again. The thing is, Hammond just can't do that on his own. If the rest of his team are not heroes that synergize well with him, then he's going to be stuck. He's going to be absolutely screwed. So then consider this, other heroes. Think about Winston. Winston had his bubble buffed. Right? Yeah, not great on paper. Well, it was okay on paper, but it didn't really do anything at the time. But look at it now. Look at the way the meta's going. Look at the nerf we've got to Orisa's Fortify. It's not a lot. It's only 10% on the PTR right now. It's been reduced by, but it's a reduction. Look at Batiste's Immortality Field. It's been reduced in duration. You could argue that those two heroes being nerfed like that is Blizzard sort of trying to encourage players to step away from the more tank, slow, kind of heavy comps that we're seeing to the dive comp. But the big crucial one here is D.Va. D.Va's booster buff, I think, is the most significant buff here. It's a very clear message Blizzard is sending out going, we want mobile tanks and mobility to be part of Overwatch again. And of course, Genji has been buffed as well. Don't forget Genji. Like, there's a lot of buffs here, like a bunch of buffs which have come through various different heroes, which could leave us in a place where dive meta or a form of dive, which includes Hammond and maybe even Baptiste, because Baptiste, yeah, he can jump, right? Okay, he's not a dive support in that sense, but he's got other ways he could fit into that comp. But the point I'm trying to make is we could be going into a scenario here where we've got D.Va with the 3-second booster cooldown, which means she's highly mobile. You've got Genji, highly mobile. You've got Winston, highly mobile. Doomfist is the funky one, because of course Doomfist has been nerfed on the PTR, and nerfed in such a really weird way that completely messes up the flow of the hero. It makes him less powerful, but I don't think it addresses the main problem with Doomfist, because I think Doomfist's issue is when he knocks you up into the air and he fires at you with his primary fire, maybe that does too much damage. Maybe that needed reducing. Maybe the damage of the fist needed reducing. But to impose a self-inflicted stun every time he uses uppercut is really weird. Like, it's really weird. It messes up the flow of the hero, which is supposed to be a hero based on fighting games, right? Anyway, Doomfist is nerfed. But the point I'm trying to make here is we've got possibly a shift in power levels here that Blizzard are trying to push in the tank lineup. And this is supplemented by a bunch of changes we've seen over the last couple of patches. Now, focusing on the tanks specifically, yeah, we've got the D.Va buff. Yeah, we had the Winston barrier buff. We had the Orisa barrier nerf. We've now got the Orisa Fortify nerf. We've got the Reinhardt barrier nerf. Of course, Orisa did get an extra 50 armor, and armor's just better now. Reinhardt's just got better armor, and he's pretty much immune to getting knocked all over the place, which is a great change for Reinhardt. But D.Va, I think, is the crucial one. When we went through Overwatch's history and we look at the very... Like, this was the first comp which was super meta at the highest level of the game. And it was dive comp. It was Winston. It was D.Va. They were the tank line. And D.Va was the tank for a very long time. In fact, I think D.Va has been the longest meta tank in the history of Overwatch. She was very strong in goats, very strong in dive. She's just been very strong all over the place because of defense matrix. But as things have moved on, as the game has developed, you see heroes like Sigma now who are simply better at doing what D.Va does. So what Blizzard are trying to do is give her more movement, right? So that makes her fit even more into this niche of the super mobile tank, which means she can be even more mobile. So if you want to use dive, you can rush in with the Winston, rush in with the Genji who's got an extra couple of shurikens, and the D.Va, and then have you got dive back? I don't know. This is an interesting way to look at this. The thing, though, I want to say at the end of this video, guys, is I still don't feel like these changes on the PTR are huge changes. I don't feel like they're like mega changes that are super flashy and they make people want to go, oh my God, I want to play Overwatch. For me, who's like super into Overwatch, I'm like, okay, these are interesting. It's cool. Clearly, they're being made to sort of make Overwatch League maybe more interesting because it's been a bit boring to watch. Because remember, the PTR patch is what's going on to Overwatch League. That's what those guys will be playing when Overwatch League kicks off. So all the players will be practicing on the PTR. But like, I don't know. Like, I think we just need more. But I guess what we do have, though, in the next week or so, probably around the 21st or the 22nd, maybe, we should get the Lunar New Year or the Chinese New Year event. Now, this will probably give us new skins. I don't think we'll get a new seasonal event for this, like a new brawl. But it's new skins, right? It's going to bring some people back. But the thing I think we really need is a new hero, and we need it really quick. And I think we need a dev update as well. That'd be nice. Anyway, guys, I've been Stylosa. This has been Unit Lost. If you guys have enjoyed the video, then remember, you can subscribe to the channel. And if you do sub, guys, click the bell button. Click the like button as well. This is like me failing the YouTube bit at the end. But click the bell because it really, really helps. And of course, let me know what kind of videos you would like to see on the channel going forward as well, guys. Overanalyzed will be back fairly soon. And we shouldn't be missing days of that again because I'm kind of sorting out a new way of recording it and all of that stuff. But yeah, all right, guys. I'll catch you lovely lot on the next video.